Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the whimsical and dark world of Tim Burton with our top 10 list of his best movies. From gothic masterpieces to quirky comedies, Tim Burton's unique style has captured the hearts of audiences around the world. So grab some popcorn and let's get started. Starting off our list at number 10 is Frankenweenie. Burton returned to his roots with this black and white, stop-motion animated adaptation of one of his earliest short films. Frankenweenie centers on a young boy named Victor Frankenstein, voiced by Charlie Tan, who brings his beloved dog Sparky back to life after he passes away suddenly. But Victor can't keep his creation a secret for too long. Burton stuffs the movie with loving references to the classic Universal monster movies that undoubtedly inspired him, from the gothic production design to the expressionistic, shadowy cinematography. The film brought the director his second Academy Award nomination for Best Animated Feature, which he lost to Brave.
Sparky! I can't believe it!
Coming in at number 9 is Corpse Bride. The cinematic worlds of Tim Burton are almost uniquely tailored for animation, and indeed, the filmmaker has often worked in the medium to great acclaim. He began his career as an animator for Disney before directing his first short, the stop-motion horror tribute Vincent. After finding success in the live-action realm, he dipped his toes back into cartoons with this macabre romance about a skittish groom, voiced by Johnny Depp, who finds himself married to a murdered young woman, Helena Bonham Carter, after he inadvertently practices his wedding vows in front of her. The film brought Burton his first Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature, which he lost to Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were Rabbit.
I made a promise.
You kept.
Next up at number 8 is Sleepy Hollow. Burton loosely adapted Washington Irving's chilling horror story with some modern-day bells and whistles to spooky effect. Ichabod Crane, Johnny Depp, is transformed from a mild-mannered school teacher into an eccentric New York City police detective sent to the town of Sleepy Hollow to investigate a series of gruesome decapitations. But his modern-day forensic science is no match for the Headless Horseman, a diabolical ghoul shaving the tops off of the town's residents. Rick Heinrich's Oscar-winning art direction and Emmanuel Lubezki's gloomy cinematography create an ominous world with menace lurking around every corner.
Taken by the Headless Horseman, taken back to hell.
At number 7, we have Batman Returns. The laws of Hollywood dictate that every successful film be given a sequel, and thus Batman Returns was born. Yet rather than producing a standard retread of the original, Burton opted to go weirder and darker with the follow-up, creating a grim, disturbing film that divided critics and disappointed audiences when it was first released. Time has rendered a different verdict. Part 2 finds the Caped Crusader, Michael Keaton, doing battle with a pair of deeply deranged weirdos, the Penguin, a gleefully repugnant Danny DeVito, and Catwoman, a scene-stealing Michelle Pfeiffer, who threatened to terrorize Gotham City at Christmas time. Filled with grisly violence, bizarre fetishism, and kinky erotica that pushes the PG-13 rating to its very limits, Batman Returns is one of the oddest blockbusters ever produced. It's also a true Burton masterpiece.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Moving on to number 6, we have Beetlejuice. After proving his mettle with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Burton was let loose with this wildly entertaining ghost story. Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis play a young married couple who are killed in a freak accident. They return as spirits to find an obnoxious new family occupying their home. Desperate to kick them out, they enlist a sleazy demon named Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton, to scare them away. In his second feature film, Burton establishes the quirky, goth fantasy aesthetic that would define his work. His vision of the underworld is a wholly original one, from the extravagant art direction to the stop-motion visual effects. The film won an Oscar for its makeup, which turns leading man Keaton into a rotting, green-haired psycho.
What I mean is, can you be scary?
What do you think of this?
Coming in at number 5 is Big Fish. Big Fish finds Burton dipping his toes into a more sentimental mode of filmmaking. Luckily, he loses none of his quirk when making us weep. Based on the book by Daniel Wallace, it tells the story of a young man, Billy Crudup, who returns to his Alabama home to be with his ailing father, Albert Finney, a former traveling salesman with a gift for telling tall tales. As his son attempts to find the truth of his dad's life, the dying man recounts the adventures of his youth, portrayed by Ewan McGregor in flashbacks, including joining the circus, meeting a witch, and befriending a giant. The plot gives Burton license to fill the screen with many spectacular sights while pulling at our heartstrings. He competed at the Critics' Choice Awards and BAFTA for Best Director, but was snubbed at the Oscars. At number 4, we have Edward Scissorhands. Of all the oddball loners in Burton's filmography, none is more empathetic than this pale-faced goth boy with sharp iron shears for fingers. Johnny Depp began his long association with the director playing the title character, a shy, sensitive young man with scissors for hands. Abandoned in a Gothic tower, he is brought down to suburbia by the friendly Avon lady, Diane Wiest, and quickly falls in love with her beautiful daughter, Winona Ryder. With eye-popping production design by Bo Welch and a sweeping Danny Elfman score, Edward Scissorhands is one of Burton's most creative and surprisingly moving creations. Its sole Oscar nomination came for Stan Winston and V. Neil's makeup, which it lost to Dick Tracy.
Those are your hands. What happened to you?
Next up at number 3 is Batman. With Batman, Burton brought the Caped Crusader back to the film noir roots of Bob Kane's comic books after the 1960s Adam West TV show mired it in camp. In so doing, he helped bring the superhero movie into darker and more mature territory. Michael Keaton plays Bruce Wayne, a billionaire vigilante who dons a black mask to fight crime. Jack Nicholson steals the show as the Joker, a maniacal, clown-faced madman terrorizing Gotham City. The real star, however, is Anton Furst's Oscar-winning production design, which creates an ominous, atmospheric metropolis of mysterious shadows and towering skyscrapers. It's hard to imagine Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy without Burton's film, which proves superheroes weren't just for children anymore.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
At number 2, we have Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. With its gruesome subject matter and complicated lyrical compositions, Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street, would be a challenge for any director. Thankfully, Burton makes Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler's landmark stage show into one of the great modern movie musicals. Johnny Depp plays Benjamin Barker, aka Sweeney Todd, a barber who murders his customers with a straight razor and helps his landlady, Mrs. Lovett, Helena Bonham Carter, turn them into meat pies. Dante Ferretti won an Oscar for his production design, which faithfully recreates the gloomy, rainy Victorian London of 1840. Despite competing at the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice Awards, Burton was snubbed at the Oscars for Best Director. It's too bad, because his gleeful adaptation of the bloody opera is one of his very best.
My arm is complete again.
And finally, coming in at number 1 is Ed Wood. Who would have guessed that a biopic about the worst director of all time would be the highlight of another filmmaker's career? Yet Edward remains the most entertaining and moving entry in Burton's filmography. Johnny Depp stars as Edward D. Wood Jr., the miraculously untalented auteur behind such zealous classics as Plan 9 for Outer Space and Glen or Glenda. Martin Landau gives the performance of his career as washed-up, drug-addicted horror icon Bela Lugosi, who becomes a friend and muse to Wood. Although all the ingredients are in place for a campy romp, Burton instead creates a loving tribute to Wood's passion and enthusiasm, and to the oddball group of misfits who populated his films. Wood may have been a hack, but at least he was a gleeful hack. In addition to Landau's victory as Best Supporting Actor, the film also won a trophy for its makeup.
Cut. That's a wrap.
And there you have it, our top 10 Tim Burton movies. Which ones are your favorites? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie reviews and top 10 lists. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.